Are we on the air?
Ruh-roh. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the shop today. So we're back here today. Try to wrap this thing up as much as we can today and get it ready for wiring. I know in the last video I said we were almost ready for wiring, but we got a few more things to do. I got to make a list of a bunch of parts I need to go pick up. I need an oil filter, oil, you know, coolant, stuff like that. I'll just run to the local O'Reilly's and pick that stuff up. But yeah, we got the headers in. So what I normally use on these cars, rather than using a style of header that comes out this way and turns, and those are really loud. So I buy these automotive headers. They're from a TL or CL. Stainless, they're, you know, relatively inexpensive. And then this is the downpipe for the CL and TL, which obviously doesn't fit underneath it here. So what we do is cut these off. We'll bend it up this way, and I put a dual in, dual out muffler right in this area. So we'll come in from both sides and then it'll come out and turn just like that. So they sound really good. They work well. We've got an area to tab off of here. So works really good and they sound good. So, and then they're easy to get off too. You just unbolt them right here and then the lower piece will come off. And we'll do the same thing on both sides. So we'll have a look at what else is going on in the shop. Looks like Joe's cutting a new front bumper for this car. They finished up the back. So they got the motor and trans mounted in the way it should be. Got a new back half made, new rear cage. Joe doesn't much like mid-engine cars, but I think this thing's going to be pretty cool. I think he's only built a couple. Let's go see what's going on in the fab room. See this pile? We're getting ready for Glamis, so all this stuff's going to be heading out to Glamis pretty soon. Okay, so we're back on the orange car, and it looks like, oh, he's getting ready to hang the arms. So motor and trans is in. This is the one that he back halved, and look at that. You can't even tell. Motor mounts are built. Wow, he's really been hauling ass. And this is kind of the new style that we do. We kind of dead end the pipes back here, and then we put taillights in there. Kind of like what we did on my car. Looks like he's making the intake right now. Radiator plumbing's done. Arms are built. Yep. Double sheared for the rear arms. Oh yeah, so he's already done the alignment and everything on these. He's just getting ready to put the arms in. Shock mounts are done. This car's getting electric power steering. So we got electric power steering kit going in this thing. Oh, he is just hauling butt. And then over to this car. So we got the hood back. Looks really good. Looks like Wayne's getting ready to start wiring this car. All the wiring stuff's out here. So yeah, looks like he's about to wire this car up. So this thing should be done any day now. I've still got to put the injectors in it and get it ready. Yeah, he's got the fans clipped. He's going to wire this car. So this thing will be ready quick. And then we have another GP105, which is outside. That's the car for Gear 1. So we go outside of the shop here. You guys can see there's another one that's here. This car is really cool. It's an older San Limo. This is a cruiser, kind of just like my car. And we're going to be adding a hood to it. Hood and a dash. And I think a center console. So we got the hood sitting on there. This thing's getting ready to go inside. Let's walk over here. Got another car that's ready to go inside. And then here's the GP105 for Gear 1. This thing just came back from powder coat. This is going to get a big Subaru motor. And an S, I think he's putting an S5 in this car. So powder coat's done. So cool car, almost ready to be put together. So we whipped up a quick throttle cable bracket here. Just made like a U shape and bolted it down. Got it attached to the throttle. And Joe's got the water plumbing finished up. Here's one of them right here. I think the other one's still on the table, but we'll get that attached, and this thing will be that much closer to being finished. We got the some of the electrical relocated. We mounted his breakers over here on a tab that was already there. We'll get some wiring from here to the battery, and then like I said in the last video, we're going to put a battery up here in the front to make a lot of room for us. So we're still grinding away on this thing, and she's just about ready. So I had to flip the shocks around the way these reservoirs were mounted. So they were like on that side where the hose goes in. There was just really nowhere to mount them without the hoses being in the way of the passenger's head here. So we went ahead and flipped them around, got the reservoirs mounted back over here, and then that way when the passenger's in the car, not gonna bump their head on anything. We're gonna fast forward over here. All right, so this one's flipped around also. In order to get them out and back in, I had to release the nitrogen out. So we're gonna go ahead and jack the back of the car up and fill the nitrogen back up right now. That way it's got a fresh nitrogen charge on it. All right guys, so we got our compressed nitrogen here with our regulator. Got our little nitrous express gauge. We just use a nitrous line because it holds high pressure, and a tire filler. We're gonna set it to 150. Stick that right in the bottom of the shock and fill it up just like that. So we've already got it set to 150. I'm gonna turn it on. That one's full. We'll walk over to this side. Take the cap off. Ooh. Let me turn it up a little bit. There we go. There's 150. There we go, guys. 150 on each shock. That's what King recommends. And get this thing back down on the ground. Much better. Much better. So our nitrogen bottle is probably going to be leaving for Glamis because it's just about time for the shop to get set up out there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the fronts of this car also. Guys, when you're filling nitrogen, you're going to want to jack the car up and get all the load off the shocks. And if the car has limit straps, make sure you remove those. So like before, we're going to pull the caps off of here. When I emptied the rear, they didn't feel like they had 150 in them. So we're gonna go ahead and top the whole thing off. That way this car just has a fresh nitrogen charge on it for when he hits the dunes. She'll ride like new. All right, our regulator's still set at 150. That one's full. Ooh. So that shock's gonna need a rebuild, and I'll show you why in just a second. We'll get this bottle shut off. So I don't know if you guys saw that on the video when I went to press the Schrader in and fill it, oil shot out, a whole lot of oil. It's on my finger, it's all over the shock. So as you guys can see, there's a bunch of oil here. When I put the Schrader on it, pushed a bunch of oil out, it's on my finger. So what has happened here is the oil's got past the ring. So this shock's gonna need a rebuild. It's not the worst I've seen, but when the oil gets past the ring, that also means the nitrogen's gonna go the other way too. So shock's not gonna perform properly unless you've got a good seal in there and the nitrogen stays on top. So I'll let the customer know this thing's gonna need a rebuild soon. He could probably get through the season with it. It's not the worst I've seen, but yeah, we'll go ahead and let it down here. Give it the old bounce test. Yeah, much better. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up the quick update in the shop today. We got that car out, and this one's in its spot now. This one's going to get a hood and a dash. Are we doing a console on this one, Joe? Yes. So hood, dash, and console? Yeah. The hood, dash, and console, headlights. So this thing's really, really nice. This is a nice car. So that's it in the shop today, guys. We're going to head home and go work on the bug. So we'll catch up with you there. And here we are back in the garage. So today I'm going to be introducing you guys to Sherry,
No.
who just peeked through the door. What are you doing? Really?
I'm making cookies.
Okay. Wife's making cookies. All right. Anyways, guys, we're in the garage. I'm going to introduce you guys to my bug. I know you guys might have seen some pictures of this on my Instagram or seen it in the back of some videos. This is my 67 bug. I don't know, a lot of you guys, some of you guys may know this, a lot of you don't. I am a hardcore Volkswagen guy. I've had a lot of bugs, a lot of Volkswagens. I've had squareback, fastback. I've had a bunch of bugs since I think my first car was a Volkswagen squareback. So I've been a hardcore VW guy my whole life. And as you guys may or may not know, the prices on these cars has gone through the moon. This typically, when I was a teenager, was probably a $500 car. 3 years ago, I paid over $2 grand for this car, and it's pretty beat. It's not in much different shape than it was when I bought it. I've done a few things to it. I put bumpers on it. And you guys see I picked up some used bumpers, and I didn't want new ones because I don't think I'm going to paint this car. I'm going to leave it this blue, and I'm going to order some patina sauce. I'm just going to sauce it up with patina sauce and leave it kind of ratty. What drew me to the car when I bought it was the Porsche alloys. Out of all the Volkswagens I ever had, I never had one with Porsche alloys on it, so I was kind of drawn to it. It also had a all-chrome motor in it that had dual carbs on it. That motor ended up being seized up. I cleaned up the cylinder that was seized, and then turned around and sold that motor. What it's got in it now is this. This is a 2332 turbo motor, obviously turbocharged. Should make about 300-ish horsepower, depending on the boost level. This motor actually came out of that blue buggy that is in this same episode that we're putting the Honda V6 in. Kind of did a little bit of a trade deal there. As for the inside of the car, this thing was fully 80s, 90s out. It was all white interior. It had like no back seat, and it had just a board up there with some speakers in it. So we ripped all that out. I got a back seat for it. It's got the right 67 front seats in it, which is cool. I ripped all the carpet out. This car really is just designed for going fast. This car is just gonna look crappy and hurt a bunch of feelings. So today we're gonna get the throttle cable installed on it. I have a throttle cable in it now, but I only got a 10-footer, and it's ran tight and it's a little short. So I picked up a 12-footer when I was at the shop earlier. We're gonna open this one up. We're gonna take the 10-footer out, put the 12-footer in, so we can actually take this thing out and take it for a maiden voyage and cruise it around. I actually drove it with the old motor in it, just around the block a little bit, but nothing really fast. So we'll see how fast this motor really is, and then we'll work on putting a boost controller in it and cranking it up. This motor does run on race gas, so I've got about 20 gallons of race fuel and a local place I can pick some more up. Also, the other thing I did to this car is I put a headliner in it. I've done everything else to these cars interior wise. I've done door panels, carpets, center consoles, but I've never done my own headliner. And for, never doing it before, it actually came out pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it. I did rip it a little bit right there, and there's a couple spots I need to fix and glue in the back, but I was pretty proud of myself. I'd never done a VW headliner, and everybody says it is a pain in the ass. Also, I took all the glass out when I did the headliner, and while taking the glass out, I broke the windshield. So I bought a new windshield for it. It's got all new window rubber in it, front and back. This window rubber was rotted and leaking water in the car, so it's all sealed up now. So, all right, guys, well, we're gonna get the throttle cable, get this one out, and get the new one in, and see if we can't get this thing down on the wheels today and take it for a ride. All right, so we're gonna undo the throttle cable here. Pull it back through the hole, and then I'm gonna jump under the car. Yeah, let me take the ends off. Gotta jump under the car and pull this thing out. Or jump inside the car. Yeah, you can see here where it was too short, where I just kind of ran it over the tunnel. The new one's 2 feet longer, so I'll be able to run it along the tunnel here and then cross over and go out the hole. Yep, there it is. We see we already got it out. And the reason we have to run this cable is because the stock one won't work. So we've already got it attached to the throttle cable. We're going to disconnect it here, and then we'll set the new cable in and get it ran. All right, well, after a bunch of runs and forth back to the hardware store, we switched it back to the 10-foot cable. The 12-foot cable was a little long. It was getting bound up, so I got to throw some more screws in here, and then put the spring in here for the holder, and then put the gas pedal back in. But for the most part, we got it hooked up. I think we're going to be taking this thing off the jack stands and going for a little test ride here before too long. Had to cut this bracket and then bolt the clamp style. This had a bulkhead style throttle cable in it on the motor before, so we switched it to this style because it's what I have. It looks like the 10-footer is going to work fine, so we'll take the 12-footer back over to the shop and it'll go on a customer car. But yeah, guys, for the most part, this thing's ready to go. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to do much more to this car. I'm going to put carpet in it and door panels and maybe seat covers, just so there's some comforts inside. But other than that, this car's supposed to look ugly, except back here. That doesn't look very ugly. So yeah, I've had this car a couple years. It's registered here in Arizona, so she's definitely going to be a driver. So we're going to give her a test drive here in a few minutes, guys, so stay tuned. All right, so it is the next day. I ran out of time last night to get this thing off the jack stands and give it its maiden voyage. So it's off the jack stands now. We're going to put some fuel in it. We're going to fire this thing up, move a couple cars there, and we're going to take this thing out for a cruise around the neighborhood, see how she does. We're going to bring you guys with us, so stick around. All right, guys, so we're in the car. There's first fire up. Oh yeah, she fired right up, boys. Just as smooth. So far, just backing out of the driveway. Reverse works. And here we go, guys. That was third gear. Fourth gear. There's second. Good, guys. Alright, here we are, guys. First drive in the bug. I'm going to circle around the block and pull it back to the house, make sure nothing's leaking. And then I got to turn the fan on for the oil cooler. guys, so we got her outside. She's idling good. Let's see if I can't get her to idle down. There we go. Need to adjust that cable a little bit. Oh, that's cold. That's where we ought to be. First drive on her, boys. Pretty successful so far. Nice. Everything looks good. Doesn't look like any fuel's leaking. Looking good, boys. Looks like that turbo might need to be rebuilt. Say that it's fast, but it's really quick. It gets up through the gears really fast. I didn't look to see the speedo. Oh, and I got no speedo. So I'll have to look at that. Definitely, I think I want to turn the boost up. So I'm going to get a boost gauge installed this week. I can see what it's boosting, but now that it runs and drives and moves under its own power, I can get it out of the garage and move it around to work on it. So it's pretty spicy. I need to fix the throttle cage, the throttle that hurts my foot, but I'll get that worked out. There it is, boys. First drive in the bug. Successful. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. We're definitely going to turn the boost up. It's quick, but it's not fast. I'm going to pull the wastegate spring and see what spring's in it. And then maybe I'll put a boost controller on this thing and turn it up. Definitely want to turn it up. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.